What's up, guys? This video is for Mike Ciancio, and he commented, "I constantly feel like I'm not good enough for anything. I only see flaws in myself, and it causes me to live this inward life by myself." And he tips. Yeah, man, I read this comment yesterday, and I went home and I was thinking about it. Like, that's pretty broad. I mean, there's a lot of tips, but I think there's one really important thing that we can do. And this answer to your question came to mind when I was reading this book, True Myths by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not by him, it's by Nigel Andrews, but it's following his life. And a lot of you have probably watched Pumping Iron or read Total Recall. You probably have heard of this, but here, let me just dive in right here. His father and his brother were going to die. Let me read you what he said. He said, "When you have parents who mold you in a certain way, it's a great effort for them. You have a chance of paying them back, making them feel that all their effort meant something. Then that's all cut off." In May 1971, Arnold's brother, Meinhard, died in a car crash in Austria. A year later, Gustav died of a stroke in Graz. Now, Arnold got called up by his mother, okay? And she said, "Honey, let me just read you what he said. If you want..." Sorry, guys, I'm all over the place. I didn't mark anything down. So his mother calls him up. And she tells him, "Your father's dead. Are you coming to his funeral?" And this is what Arnold says. He says, "No, I'm not going. I got a contest in 2 months. If you want to be a champion, you can't have any kind of outside negative force coming in to affect you. So I trained myself for that, to be totally cold and not have things going through my mind. And it was a sad story when my father died, because my mother called me on the phone and she said, 'Your dad died.' And this was exactly 2 months before a contest. 'Are you coming home for the funeral?' she said. I said, 'No, it's too late. He's dead and nothing can be done. I'm sorry, I can't come.' And I didn't explain the reasons why. Because how do you explain to a mother whose husband died that you just can't be bothered now because of a contest?" There's a lot of power here, man. Because Arnold knew. I mean, you look at Arnold's life and where he made it, he is great. He will always be remembered. Right? And he knew from a young age that he couldn't let, this is the point, that he couldn't let negative thoughts get inside of his head and bring him down. Okay? Now I want you to hold on to that. Todd Henry in the book, The Accidental Creative, talks about that we have such a mass amount of media, of stuff, information, right? And there's so many books, there's so many social media websites, and we're constantly bombarded by information, quotes every day on Instagram or seeing other people's lives through Facebook. Right, we got the news over here telling us what's happening in the Middle East and the political stuff. There's so much, and our brain has to process this all. I've talked about before that we have to be very careful what we feed this thing, man. Mike, you got to realize, dude, this tip of not letting any negative thing bombard your brain, okay? Just like when you're on a diet, it's okay to eat a little junk food, but if junk food is a staple of your diet, then you're going to have a lot of consequences for that. You're not going to be strong and powerful. The same when it comes to your brain. So, with you not feeling good enough, man, you have to realize, are you tracking what you put in, what you feed your mind, right? Are you mindlessly surfing the internet? Misc, Reddit, forums like these are they're very taxing when it comes to constantly putting stuff in our brain, constantly hearing the opinions of others, and our brain has to filter all this out, and our processing is just like, we get all these negative images and thoughts in our head. So if you want to feel really good about yourself, man, be careful what you put in. Track it. Okay? The video Positive Mental Diet. Watch what goes in, and then really pay attention to it, man. Just like Arnold, he knew, my father is dead, but I can't be around sadness. I mean, funeral was filled with sadness, people dying, death. It sounds harsh, but we have to be careful, man. Mike, I hope this has helped, brother. Put the good stuff in and you'll get the good stuff out.